This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour 2 here, Money Moves, VSiN, the sports betting network. SiriusXM channel 158. We're live as always from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. If you missed any of the program, you can always download Money Moves in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen on your own time. Same thing with the VSiN Watch app. You can watch everything on demand when you're a VSiN Pro subscriber. Lots to get to this hour, coming up in 30 minutes. Chuck Esposito, the Red Rock Casino Race and Sportsbook. He's going to join the program, talk through a lot of stuff from behind the counter. It's an Overreaction Monday. We've got a fun edition of Call Me Crazy, but best bets, of course, at the end of the hour as well. We're going to get into the NBA in a moment, but our producer Justin just sent us a tweet that must be acknowledged. And for anybody who doesn't know, me as a human being, I eat a lot of candy, probably like a pretty unhealthy amount of candy.
What have you had today?
Actually, nothing today. I've just had coffee, so purely caffeine. But you've seen how many times where I walk in and I've got candy in my purse, or I'm eating licorice for breakfast or whatever it is, because I'm just weird. Reese's peanut butter cups are my probably, like, I would say number one of everything. I mean, Reese's really, I don't know if they make a bad product. That is until I saw this tweet that reportedly Reese's is releasing a peanut butter cup flavored toothpaste for a limited time in Australia and New Zealand. Why?
It's also the same question of the fluoride-free fried chicken flavored toothpaste that Justin just sent us from the...
KFC releasing a toothpaste too? Why? Why are we doing that? Sometimes we just don't need things.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no.
I think we've officially run out of ideas as a society.
Well,
probably.
that's what I was going to say, though, is like, not every idea is a good idea. Is this a societal thing where we're just, we're giving people too much leeway to just do whatever they want? You're not hearing no enough?
Ugh, I can't do that.
This is when it gets back into like that time of like people need to be bullied.
Yeah. Bullying does work.
It does.
It does.
It's very effective. Okay, let's get to the NBA. I've got a handful of games on deck today, including one that I brought up earlier because we got some massive news as it pertains to one of the biggest stars in the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo reportedly expected to be back on the court today against the Boston Celtics. We have seen the number move as such. And as just kind of a sidebar add to that, looks like Jason Tatum not available today, but could be by the end of the week, which is massive for an Eastern Conference contender like Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a game that is, for this game specifically, I guess it's somewhat hard to really dive right in with Giannis. I mean, it's the first game back. What's your expectation? I think it's easy to sit by the sidelines and just see exactly how he performs here in this game. I also don't know if there's going to be some sort of minutes restriction for him. I at least haven't seen if that's the case. So do you want to assume that he's just going to come in and hit the ground running? And you also have to wonder, I mean, look, this team has been playing relatively well, as you have pointed out many times. Their wins as a dog have really shown through. This backcourt has kind of gotten a little bit more of, we'll call it continuity, right? They're getting used to playing with each other as well. Ryan Rollins, Kevin Porter Jr., among some others. Cam Thomas has been performing relatively well as a Milwaukee Buck, too. How does this shift in volume for some of these guys actually impact the way that they're going to play? That is going to be something that I am very interested in seeing. But at the end of the day, they're better with Giannis out there on the floor. We reiterate one more time that with the most used lineup in Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's a team and a lineup that outscores their opponents by over 13 points every 100 possessions. In theory, they should work out very well, but you just do wonder what this looks like from a continuity standpoint for Milwaukee.
I got to admit, I'm a little distracted right now.
What are you doing?
Because I just read some of this article about the KFC toothpaste.
Oh, there we go.
And it says, this is real. This is not a prank. It's here, and it's finger-licking good.
I mean, I've never wanted to just eat, you know what I mean? You're supposed to feel clean after you brush your teeth.
Giannis, I can parlay this together. Giannis, didn't he have something with fried chicken? It wasn't KFC, though, right? Was it a Chick-fil-A thing?
I mean, I think what you're speaking about is when they won the title.
The Nuggets, yes.
Yeah, he went to the
50 Nuggets or something.
Yeah, it was early in the morning. He went to Chick-fil-A.
America.
Yeah.
It was also pointed out. America.
Yeah, it was also pointed out that the Bucks celebration post-title was one of the most boring in NBA history.
It's not very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was. No, I think, who is it? I'm completely forgetting who it was, but there was a member of the Bucks team. He's got a podcast. I watch it all the time. I'm blanking on it now. Either way, he actually drove to his buddy's house in Indiana after they won the title because they weren't doing anything. So he just drove 30 minutes or 3 hours and then went and played NBA 2K the day after they won the title. Think about that.
What a guy. I love it. The toothpaste is also $13. And they have a KFC branded electric toothbrush that you can buy for $59 if you really want to have it. All-inclusive experience. That said, okay, bets-wise, anything you think is worth a look in this game tonight?
No, I mean, I would lean a little bit toward Boston, to be honest with you. I know Giannis is going to be back, but again, you just don't know what this looks like. And I also, I trust Boston a little bit more here. Inserting a piece like Giannis is going to help. And Boston doesn't really have a big piece to go after Giannis with defensively. So you could see, in theory, a pretty big game for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he plays his full slate of minutes. Again, we don't know what that's going to look like either, but kind of trust Boston here. So we'll see what the market wants to do with it. You mentioned it, down to 2.5. Well, a couple of twos out there, but I'd expect we close by 2.5, maybe even 3 in favor of Boston. But once the public gets their hands on this thing, who knows? Maybe they'll look at it and go, oh, Giannis is back, let's go. And they'll drive this down even further.
Yeah, big swing. When we talked about this off the top of the show, we mentioned the movement from 7 down to 4.5, 4, now all the way to 2.5, 2, depending on where you look. Another quick injury update, albeit not for someone to play today, but the Warriors did announce Sunday Steph Curry is making progress on the right knee, but he's going to be reevaluated after another 10 days. He's missed the last 10 games. Last time he played January 30th against Detroit. Today, Golden State hosting your Los Angeles Clippers. And this is a little flip of favorites, albeit for what is essentially a pick'em game, but Golden State opened a 1-point favorite. They're now 1.5-point dog.
Yeah, I think the question will be for the Los Angeles Clippers, will Kawhi Leonard play? He played against Orlando. If you remember that Thursday game against Minnesota, we talked about that. Like, well, he got 3 days off, and all of a sudden he's questionable to play. Why would you not? Sure enough, he does not play in that game, but comes back yesterday, helps blow out the New Orleans Pelicans, 137-117. Not a long trip. And we have seen Kawhi start to play in back-to-backs, but you do wonder where he's at. Because if after 3 days off he couldn't play against Minnesota, realistically on a short turnaround, then would you play on the second leg of a back-to-back here tonight? I think that is going to be what you're watching. Realistically, too, you look at the market seems to think maybe he's going to play. Got some ones that opened up in favor of Golden State. We flipped to the Clippers' direction. I think in general you're looking at this and going, yeah, I expect that this team is going to probably deserve to be favored. The other is Darius Garland is set to make his Clippers debut tonight against the Golden State Warriors. So that's probably also why. Yeah, I mean, look, if he gets out there, and again, you always want to make sure, let's see if there's a restriction, what that's going to look like. But Darius Garland, Kawhi Leonard, that's a combo that looks pretty threatening. So if he's going to be out there, I can understand against the Golden State team that, look, we've gone through this a ton, but this injury report for them, no Steph Curry, Gary Payton's questionable, Kristaps is still sick, Will Richard is out too. Like, we'll see exactly, Will Richard, excuse me, I think I have some hockey flair there.
Rocket Richard, look at you.
And Draymond will play, but who the hell knows what's going on at this point right now? He's melting down the other day. So I think the Clippers are in a better spot here to go ahead and get this done. But it's obviously a tight game, so you could probably find some in-game opportunities.
Speaking of melting down, what's going on with the Denver Nuggets right now? So they lose again to the Timberwolves on Sunday, dropping back-to-back games, and now 4 of 8 since the start of February, their worst 12-game stretch of the season. That night, shot 6 of 22 from 3, their fewest of any game this season. Jokic has another good day, 35 points, 13 boards, 9 assists. However, not enough to get it done. And when you look to tonight against the Jazz, who are a real bad team, what do you make ultimately of this one?
Did you see Jokic's reaction when Jalen Williams tried to get him back?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I think people don't understand how crazy his upbringing was, and I've had this debate a lot with hey, who would win in fights? I would pick an Eastern European a lot of the times, and Jokic is one of those dudes that looks like he would definitely mess you up. I will say this:
who was it that made all the comments about who you want to have on your team? Was it Mick Cronin or somebody was talking about, I want those.
I can't remember. I think it was.
Those guys that drink vodka and get in fights or whatever it was.
Light it on fire, they spit it out. Yeah,
exactly. Go ahead.
With Denver, look, I mean, Denver, it's actually pretty interesting because the Nuggets overall, and Jokic, you could throw in there too, have not been playing particularly well. You mentioned the 2 consecutive losses, losing to Oklahoma City, losing to Minnesota. You stretch out a little bit more. They haven't won consecutive game, Stormy, since January 29th and 30th. So this has been a team that has been all the way, all over the place, I should say. Utah, we know how banged up they are. Keontae George isn't on the injury report, so we're going to see him here again. Seems like a pretty big number given it's the second leg of a back-to-back for Denver. But Jokic is not on the injury report. It's why you get this little bump here. Open 10, we're up to 11.5. Maybe the expectation was that he was potentially not going to play, but he's clearly shooting, I think, for some awards, anything like that. Over 243 seems a little high. That's where we're at right now. We'll see where this gets to, but if Denver blows them out, you can see a scenario in which you go underneath that number. So depending on how high it gets, I would lean under 243 or 243.5.
You mentioned Jokic wanting to play to be in contention for those awards. He's plus 475 for MVP right now. Second on the board is SGA is continuing to grow his favorites number from what were we last week? As low as minus 130?
Yeah, before he got announced return, he's like minus 135.
Now minus 275, that current number. The other final games, just a short slate today. Another big spread though. Washington getting 14.5 at home against the Rockets, total 225.5.
Yeah, today's kind of stinks, right? It's 4 games. There's a bunch of big spreads and some unknown. By the way, DraftKings just goes to 1.5 as we're talking about this Boston game. So we'll see. Like I said, maybe we'll get that down a little bit lower. We talked about this. It's a short slate. We've got 2 tankers here. Do you want to put together a Denver-Houston moneyline parlay, lay a price, and fade both of those teams? Will be the real question. I don't know, maybe add a third leg with some of these college teams if there's a big enough favorite like a Duke that you would really trust, but
I like that.
Not enough options for you to really dive into fading the Tankapalooza teams at this point.
I do like that angle, though, especially after we were breaking down that Duke-NC State game a little bit earlier. This is an NC State team that is trending down, and Duke is, it just feels like peaking at the right time. They're playing such good basketball right now.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup for Duke that they would be able to get that done here tonight for sure.
What do you think about James Harden?
Look
good with the slow start, but ended up finishing fast.
Yep. What we talk about, right? It's the tip of his non-shooting thumb. So he was going to be fine, and he's going to play through it. And I think they're going to be perfectly fine as you move forward. And they still have the potential to go on this really deep run potentially and rip up the Eastern Conference as their division. Their schedule is very, very easy. I don't think they're going to catch the Pistons at this point, so we'll be dead in the division. But 2-3 seed, that's still up for grabs.
Reminder right now, as we're talking all things hoops, it is Hoops Mania season when it comes to college basketball as well. We are officially in March. March Madness will be here before you know it, and we have our Hoops Mania special going on where you can get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do through May 1st for just $29.99. That's everything we have here at VSiN.com, the daily best bets, the betting splits, AI-powered prop tools, 24/7 video, and our March Mania betting guide that will have team profiles for every team in the tournament, key trends for each round, and more. VSiN.com/subscribe is how you can get started. We'll be back with Call Me Crazy, but after this.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
On your tinfoil hats.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. The whole world gone crazy.
For Call Me Crazy, but...
All right, let's get into it. Call me crazy, but Detroit should be winning by more than they are right now. Just a tie game out there in Nashville.
Well,
Sadly, I said they should be.
You said they should be winning by more than they are right now, but they're not winning.
Semantics. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Time for Call Me Crazy, but on an Overreaction Monday. And I am actually going to start in the NHL because with the trade deadline looming this Friday, there are a lot of teams with a lot of questions. And one of them that's not going to do what I think the majority of fans would like to do. And yes, I'm talking to you, the Edmonton Oilers. Call me crazy, but you can't write it out with Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram the rest of the way. There was a report over the weekend from Elliot Friedman that the Oilers are not looking to add a goalie, saying, quote, they've already made their move. I think they're either looking at D or a third center. And are those things that they need and would like to have? Obviously. But what is the thing that the Edmonton Oilers have needed for, it feels like, decades now? It's a good goaltender. Looking through some of their stats, Edmonton is bottom 11 in the league in shots faced per game and middle of the row in high danger chances allowed. Yet they've given up the most high danger goals in the league with 55 and 7th most goals against on average throughout the course of the year. Since they made the swap from Stuart Skinner on December 12th, Jarry has an .860 save percentage, .385 goals against, recent showings as well, given up 4+ goals in each of his last 5 starts, including his first one back from the break. It hasn't been good. And even for Ingram, while his numbers overall are better since being pulled up, he's struggled mightily down the stretch. Last 7 games, .369 goals against, .850 save percentage himself. I get that there's not a lot of cap flexibility if you're Edmonton. There are more than one issue that you have to figure out, but goaltending is the marquee one. And when you have Connor McDavid at the core of everything you're doing, who just agreed to a team-friendly short-term deal because he wants to make a push for the cup in Edmonton, you've got to be doing everything humanly possible for that guy, and you're not doing it.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why does he want to be there?
I don't know.
I mean, they continue to kind of short him. I mean, this is a guy that probably has a Stanley Cup if he has just an iota better goaltending. As you're talking about these runs that they have made, the potential that they could have, he can't just continue to carry this team. I am shocked. I was surprised when he signed the extension. You would think that, hey, you know what? We're going to do right by you because you signed the extension. We're going to invest. The fact that you rattle off those numbers about the high danger chances and their inability to stop those, and now you look at what they're doing, I mean, they're not going to win the Pacific because of the way that they keep playing. Boy, the fact that they blew that game against Anaheim last year, and you're not going to go and target a goaltender? This is absolutely ridiculous.
And I get there's cap, like I said, there's cap constraints, I get it, but how many times have we seen with how many teams that they're able to figure things out and do some of those cap gymnastics when they need to make a move? They are an offensive group that is capable of outscoring anyone on any given night, maybe even a given series. But to win 4 in a row and win a Stanley Cup without good goaltending isn't going to happen.
He's got to demand a trade. Call me crazy, but Connor McDavid should demand a trade in the offseason.
Let's talk about the Pacific Division, though, because I think we're going to be on the same page on this one. Call me crazy, but Vegas second-round elimination might be the play. It's a plus 270 price. We've been talking about this for a couple months now, and you've led the charge that the Golden Knights, as you put it, are a fake good team. They are top in the division right now, in the worst division, albeit only by 1 point margin. Minus 160 favorites to win it, and 4th on the odds board to win a Stanley Cup. This despite sitting 21st in the league in wins. Anaheim, Edmonton, Utah, and San Jose actually have more. But Vegas leads the league in overtime losses, so they've collected 14 extra points in their losses. That said, because of the division and the talent they have, the road to make the playoffs and to win that first round is going to be easier than anybody else in the National Hockey League. Yeah. But if they are this fake good team, where despite the talent, we don't really, I mean, the numbers are still what they are at the end of the day. Vegas will have the upper hand in the first round, but after that, I don't think so. I feel like this is not a team that's built to make a run. Second round could be the spot.
So right now the projected bracket would be VGK versus Utah.
Yes.
You don't think that they would be able to?
I think they would beat Utah.
I was going to phrase it as you don't think Utah would be able to beat VGK?
No.
Okay.
I think Vegas would win a best of 7 series with Utah, but then beyond that, they're out.
And then it would be Anaheim or Edmonton that they would fall to.
Most likely Edmonton, and that just screams early exit.
But we just talked about Edmonton. If they're not going to trade for a goaltender, you trust that they're going to be able to beat?
They can outscore Vegas for sure.
Okay. I just don't like this
team at all. It's not like Vegas has good goaltending either.
No, and this isn't a Vegas would win the series. I'm just actually more inclined to say, like, maybe they just beat you or they lose to Utah, and they call it from there. But who did we talk to last week? I thought it was a brilliant point of
Todd Furman?
Was it? Yeah, Furman. Yeah, when I brought up Vegas, and he brought up their actual record, if it was a traditional record, the fact that they're been awful. I just
said they're 21st in the league in wins.
I can't buy this. So yeah, I guess that would make some sense. I think there's a higher chance of maybe they lose in the first round because I hate this team. But yeah,
hit me with one of yours.
All right, call me crazy. Call me crazy. Tommy Lloyd's going to prove the haters wrong in March, folks. Arizona is going to make a run here. I keep hearing this, and it's at some point, and look, this is going to sound stupid when they lose in the first round, but I keep hearing this nonsense of like, you got to fade Arizona. Tommy Lloyd doesn't know what he's doing. They're a top 10 team in both offensive and defensive efficiency for this season. Their young guns are absolutely fantastic. Braden Burries is starting to really figure this out. Consecutive 20-point games for the young kid. Koa Pete comes back. A very casual stat line, Stormy, when he comes back from injury of 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists with a steal. The kid is brilliant. This team is playing really good basketball. Yes, would you like that they shoot a few more threes? Absolutely. They're 363rd in the country when you talk about three-point rate, but they shoot the ball really efficiently from beyond the arc. This is a team that I think has every single thing that you want, and they've got the continuity. Remember, Lloyd played with these guys in the offseason in the FIBA circle too. This is a team that is very dangerous. And so what? You lost to Kansas, and you went on the road, lost to Kansas, and then you lost in overtime to Texas Tech. Outside of that, you bounced back nicely. I think this team is going to be a very big danger. And you could say, well, John, they're going to be a top one. They're going to be a 1 seed. What's the big deal here? Watch when March Madness starts. There's going to be a lot of people who don't trust Tommy Lloyd, and I think that I am in.
I don't think you're crazy, but I do think there's at least a part of you that's trying to curry favor with our boss.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they're the best program ever.
Steve Cohen, by the way.
Yes.
Loves his Arizona Wildcats. Also, while I do, by the way, Nashville Predators up 2-1 now on Detroit. I hate everything. Jonathan Marchessault with the go-ahead goal for the Preds. How about this? Call me crazy, but the Bulls blowing out Milwaukee will not deter me one bit from continuing to fade them in March. Yep. We were so profitable going against Chicago in February. They win 120-97 yesterday, but I was looking through how that win happened because I didn't watch this game live. They were down 16 and then go on an insane 27-0 run because the Bucks couldn't buy a basket. They missed 17 straight shots. So I'm going to throw that out the window and go back to what I've seen from Chicago time and time again, which is losing all 11 games they played in February, 2-14 their last 16 straight up, 3-13 against the spread in that number, usually with numbers that were pretty big too. Like the average was more than 7.5 points that they were getting and still not able to cover these numbers. So I have big plans to continue to fade Chicago moving forward.
Sure. I mean, it makes sense. Actually, a bad win for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
They're ahead of Memphis by a victory. Memphis has won 2 straight now. You can't keep winning if you're Chicago. You've got to be able to improve your draft status here. Right now, you would be projected to finish 9th in the draft lottery simulator. So come on, Chicago, you got to pick it up. I would tend to agree to. A team that wants to lose. We talked about this. Talked about it on Friday because I think it was Thursday. We were here that Tankathon special on a Thursday night. All of those teams lost. All of them lost by about 20 points on average. These teams want to lose, and I think that would make some sense.
I do need to look up again what that parlay angle for tonight would be if you did the
pull it together for you.
Rockets, Nuggets, and Duke Blue Devils. Tell me what that would be. Okay, how about this one? I have one more. Call me crazy, but I'm definitely going to get picked for jury duty this week, huh?
I mean, given my luck, yeah.
So I have it scheduled for, I believe, Thursday. I'm going to need to go double check. But yes, I have been summoned for jury duty. I postponed it. I originally got the summons during football season. I postponed it.
What day is this?
I can't get out of it. I think Thursday.
Okay.
I'm supposed to find out the night before whether or not I actually need to show up. But if I show up, I feel like I am the type they're going to look at me and know that I seek justice, and I will not be. I've never served on a jury. I wouldn't like to. It's not something that has been a dream of mine. I know some people are very interested in it. Most people do everything they can to get out of it. I just feel like because I'm not a liar, I'm going to be honest in the process. That
no, I
feel like I'm going to get picked.
You're not going to get it because you're a member of the media.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sports media, though.
Yeah, but your media doesn't matter.
Why?
I have no idea why. I can honestly because I just go back to.
Should I just tell them I'm not a good secret keeper?
In my time as a telemarketer and then beyond, when you answer, they always ask you if you're a member of the media. When you say yes, they say thanks for your time. See you later.
Really?
Yeah.
That quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then I guess that'll be simple as that. But
loved my time as a telemarketer. It was fantastic.
I'm sure people loved getting those calls from you as well. It's their favorite thing. I like now that on the phone you can see that it says scam likely
or political call, whatever it is. There was a time where I got called in. I thought this is insane. Some company needed like a last second survey done or something like that.
Okay.
It was 9:00 at night. And they needed an emergency survey done or something like that. And I had to go in at 9 and call people. You know how many people yelled at me?
I'm sure. Like that's a tough situation.
It's insane
to be in. Also,
what a job.
No shade to you, but I'm not sure that like you're the temperament I would want to interact with on those calls.
Well, this is where my privilege kicks in. It was my uncle's company, so I did not care. You know, actually, the way it works is if you didn't get enough completed surveys, you would get cut. Guess who never got cut? You know,
pure nepotism, baby, at its finest. Okay.
At least in telemarketing.
That's the one area of nepotism I would think you would rather not be in. That said, you hear the music. We got to step aside here real quickly. Excited to have our good buddy Chuck Esposito of the Red Rock Race and Sportsbook join us on the program coming up after this timeout.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, this segment sponsored by Upside. Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you fill up your gas tank. And right now, when you use the promo code SPORTS, get 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank. And I am filled with much more joy now that Detroit scored another goal. Thank you, Lucas Raymond. We are now 2-2 out there in Nashville for this matinee game of the day. Hockey, actually something I want to bring up with our next guest as we head behind the counter.
Where are the lines changing? And where's the money going? Let's go behind the counter.
Oh, let's do it. Very excited to have our good friend Chuck Esposito of the Red Rock Race and Sportsbook join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. And we were kind of joking in the commercial break about how nice it is to have some matinee hockey going on right now. We got it a lot during the Olympics. And Chuck, you said even that gold medal game for the men, that it was 5 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, still had a full book over there at Red Rock.
Oh, it was great. It wasn't just at Red Rock, Stormy. It was throughout our company. All the sports books had great crowds. I know at Sunset they had people that arrived at 4:10. They were sitting out there an hour beforehand, and it was kind of football-esque, kind of standing room only, people cheering and hooting and hollering. And outcome was actually very favorable for us. We actually needed the U.S. to win, but just by one goal. So overall, it worked out well. But kind of a fun crowd and a fun atmosphere for both the men's and women's final.
Did that parlay into any other Olympic bets? Like, I know the handle for hockey must have been good, but anything else?
Yes, and now that you ask, surprisingly enough, curling. It happened to be the time that curling went off every morning, and I think as guests were getting up and logging into STN Sports, curling was on, and it generated a much bigger handle than I anticipated. It was kind of fun watching it, just knowing we had more of a kind of vested interest in it throughout the day. But curling was surprisingly one of the bigger increases in handle that we hadn't expected.
And JVT had some controversy as well in the curling
That's
world.
right, yeah.
The pointer finger heard around the world.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, I guess if it's on and there's nothing else, they'll bet it then, right?
You know, it's true, JVT. We booked those dart tournaments from the UK, and it was tremendous what we saw. Not Olympic events, but just the timing of all those events. Every morning we saw a huge handle on darts. So somewhat true. You know, the app really brings all these sports to you, regardless of what time and where they are in the world. And so I guess if it's out there, they're going to bet on it. And they did in curling, and we saw it in darts as well. So a little bit off the grid sports, but both generated some good handle of late.
This is not an exaggeration. Going to one of those darts tournaments is on my bucket list. Seeing the intros for these guys, it looks, that environment.
The crowd looks great. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Speaking of which, here in Vegas, I know we're going to get some great turnout from people that are coming into town for all these conference tournaments today. The first one gets underway with that play-in game in the Horizon League. Any of these like early items that you're already seeing get played or like interest in late season? How's this all play out from your side of the book?
Nothing really crazy yet, Stormy, but I think, you know, we've kind of talked about it in the past. Anytime there's events out here, you're always going to see a huge uptick in handle. Guests that are going to the events have an opportunity from their fan base that are out here as well to attend. So I anticipate that we'll see a really strong handle on it across the board. Overall, I think you look at the top 25 in the country, there's not a lot of surprises. I mean, overall, the tournament from our side has been dominated by favorites over the last couple of years, not your traditional, you know, Cinderella stories or David against Goliath as much. Have some liability on some of the top 25 teams, a little bit uncharacteristic with a little liability on Michigan and Houston at the top. But overall, I think we're going to have a great tournament. Our last man standing contest, we're taking applications for right now. Same format as in the past. $25 entry fee, $100 gets you 4 and a bonus 5th entry. It works just like the tourney. You win and you move on. You lose and you go home. It's an aggregate $50,000 winner payday. So kind of a fun contest as well if you love the tournament.
Chuck, have you seen the rash of Florida bets that everybody seems to be making here to win the NCAA tournament?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no question that they've become a popular bet right now. I mean, they're a fast-rising team, you know, with the wins against Texas and Arkansas. I think they're a team right now that's getting a lot of love and a lot of interest as they've kind of moved up. I think they were 7 last week, have moved up now. So they're a really good team.
For futures for the tournament, for like the big picture NCAA tournament, is that something that you see bets trickle in on like throughout the course of the season? Is there a huge flush and like ration of bets that come in after the field is ultimately set? How does that typically play out? And are there any other teams that you have seen some early liability on?
Yes, Stormy, it is. I think once we put up the futures for the following year, you do. You're not sure with some of the nil and transfers and guys potentially going pro, but you have them all up, and throughout the course of the season, teams will be moved up and down, and money will come in that way. And I think you look at Michigan and what they were to start the season in Houston, they both got a lot of love from the bettors. Vandy and Wisconsin as well, although I think you look at these two schools, I'm not quite as concerned with Vandy and Wisconsin. I think Vandy will probably fall out a bit. but there's some liability on those two schools as well. So, and as once the field is set, and I think you see kind of the brackets and the regions and what schools have to go through, who to get to the ultimate Final Four in the championship game, you start seeing some more play on there as well, as the guests are kind of jockeying for position, knowing they've got some teams to win it, and maybe some teams that they think are in a favorable bracket as well.
Chuck, I mean, from a betting standpoint, it does seem that these three, well, maybe four if we want to include Florida, but it does seem these teams at the top are very much in control of this thing, and they're probably going to win it. Do you see that accumulation at all at the top when it comes to some of these futures, or are they really just staying away from like Michigan at plus 325 and Duke at plus 350?
Well, they've already bet Michigan JVT. I mean, those are one of the teams that we already have liability on. So they targeted them early on. Same thing with Houston early on. And we have a little bit of liability on both those teams. Usually that's not the case. You look at all sports and the teams at the top or favorites we're normally in good shape with, and then people are looking for some of those value plays that we don't want to come in. But in this particular case, you do have some of the teams at the top in both Michigan and Houston that there is some liability. Conversely, we're in good shape with Arizona, good shape with UConn, actually decent shape with Florida right now, Iowa State. So there are schools that we're still in good shape with, but there's a couple at the very, very top that unfortunately we do have some liability with.
Any insight you can give us on those two big games that are coming up today, Duke and NC State, as well as the Iowa State game, how those games are getting played here early?
Yeah, they're betting the favorites a little bit with us so far, guys. We've seen a little bit of favorite play, and it's you look at Duke, they're just so good right now, and I just see that the way the guests like to back Duke. I think this year to finish out the season, they play not only NC State but Carolina as well. But they're betting Duke a little bit in this game so far, guys. Same thing in the other game, the favorite.
Who do you like in the big tournament, Chuck? Are there any teams that have stuck out to you?
I don't know. I'm going to look for some value. You know, I kind of liked Illinois a little bit before some of their for that loss against Michigan. I was looking for somebody that I could get some value with, but I'm going to be rooting for whoever we need, guys. It's been very chalky the last 2 years and not a great tournament for our side of the counter as we've seen in the past. So just hoping that there's some puppy love, some Cinderella stories, and that David is alive and well against Goliath this year.
As you guys are also getting geared up for the MLB season, spring training underway, I know the World Baseball Classic is the talk of the town as well. What's the handle like on that? And are people already getting involved in some MLB futures?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great. I mean, for us having baseball early in the day, it just adds something. Once football ends and you're kind of waiting for the tournament to start, and then we had hockey and the NBA both on the extended breaks for the All-Star game and the Olympics, that having MLB exhibition or preseason was great. So we've seen really good handle on that. I think, Pittsburgh is a team I was going to touch on that they're playing well in preseason, but they're also a team that's getting some love from the bettors. But the two teams that we do have some liability on, American League, bettors seem to love the Mariners right now, and National League, they seem to love the Giants right now at the prices. So those are two teams with some liability in both their respective leagues.
I mean, no, we're not getting in the pouring in of support for the Athletics. I would assume that would be the biggest liability for you at this point.
A little bit, guys. Nothing like we see with the Knights or the Raiders right now. I think once they get here, that will change, but not quite what we've seen with some of the other Vegas teams, guys.
Chuck, you're great. Thank you so much for the time as always. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks. Always enjoy being on. Talk to you guys soon.
Chuck Esposito, sportsbook director over there at the Red Rock Casino Race and Sportsbook. Reminder as well, if you're filling up your tank anyway, you might as well be getting paid for it these days, and you can be with the free Upside app. You earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Just download the app from the App Store or Google Play Store, check nearby offers, and start earning immediately. Promo code SPORTS gets you an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up as well. Download the free Upside app today. Again, promo code SPORTS for your 25-cent fill up per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. See upside.com for terms and conditions. We obviously had our breakdown of the Giants the other day, and we were talking about the Pirates. You did say, you like that over? I know they could be like an outside contender for a playoff spot as well.
Yeah, I really think they could. The pitching staff is absolutely fantastic, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your boys here. You got a 3-2 lead.
Let's go.
136 left to go in the second.
It was a shorty.
Yeah.
It was a shorty,
was it
too.
really?
Yeah. I had a lot of anxiety seeing the Preds go on the power play, and then we ended up getting one by. So we will keep tabs on that as we go. Still about a minute and a half here in the second period, and then a full period after that, and maybe a little scuffle where we could get more power play time. What? A scuffle? Oh, you're the worst.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Wrapping up this Monday edition of Money Moves live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. We are in the second intermission now officially with Detroit and Nashville. Red Wings up 3-2 right now, and we'll still have time on the power play when they come back. Detroit, that is. So feeling good. Need to see how it goes, though. Those of you that have 6 or a 6.5 are just wondering how many goals are going to be scored here in the final frame as well. That said, you had a tweet you wanted to get to.
Yes. By the way, are periods still referred to as frames?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I think of frames in divisions of 4, so that's all.
Oh, no. See, this is a thing, though. I was just telling you, because I do so much hockey, sometimes with, like, basketball quarters, I'll fall into calling it a period sometime. But I think frames works for anything, because you use it in baseball a lot.
I was going to say, the more I think about it, I think it's only a baseball term, because an inning box looks like a frame.
I think it's translatable.
Interesting. All right, so let people know where you're going to be in 3 weeks from now.
The Philippines and Japan.
You will not be here, right?
For some of it, yeah.
Right? No, I'm not giving you crap. I'm establishing something first before I read this tweet. So you're going to be on vacation coming up here in a few weeks.
Yes.
Unless
I get picked for a jury. Should that be what I say? Is I'm going
wondering.
out of the country?
Like, that's what I'm curious.
That should be the excuse.
If you get put on jury duty, because Brian checked in and said, Storm Buonantony is getting some crazy complex case. She'll be back for the Final Four. And it made me think, what if you do get put on jury duty? And what if it turns out to be some weeks-long case where God forbid, you have to be sequestered? Could you imagine? I mean, what happens?
I think that's what I do, is I bring my airline tickets.
They wouldn't care, would they?
Non-refundable? Are you going to pay for that? I know that jury payment isn't going to be enough.
DJT will take care of you.
DJT?
Yeah.
What's that?
Dark president.
Oh.
Uncle Sam will take care of you.
Sure, I'm
Jason
sure.
also checked in and said current line is Stormy ends up as foreman of the jury minus 195.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm telling you, I fight for justice. I am a rule follower, okay?
I'm so nonchalant that I feel like I'd get picked. If I ever got it, I can say this right now. I think I've said it before on the air. I don't care. I'll admit it to the government of the world. I have never received or set eyes on jury summons for myself, ever.
How is that possible? I've had so many. Do you not vote?
No, I vote all the time. And here's the thing. I vote in midterms. I am a politically active person, okay? But I will say this, and it's weird because I'm militant. For some reason, I am militant on address changes. So every time I move, I change it on my driver's license. I have kept up to date with everything. And yet, for some reason, I have never received a jury summons in my mailbox. Never.
I've had so many. I got one right away when I was 18. I didn't even know you could get one the first year.
Yeah.
I thought that you were given a little bit of leeway there. No, within months. I've had multiple. I've never been picked for anything, though. I've never even gotten to the point where you go in and you sit down and are asked questions about yourself. No. So I was picked when I lived in California a number of times just to summoned rather, not picked, to have to go in. And I was there for hours just waiting in a waiting room. And then someone would come out and be like, no cases today, so y'all are free to go. And that happened to me multiple times. But I've never even been to the room where I've been asked questions at all.
For our boss, Steve Cohen, if you're watching it or listening, since I did a great monologue on how great Arizona is and that they're going to win the whole thing and they're going to be fantastic, can we actually do some investigating here and make sure that she's just not lying about this so she can get another day off?
Oh, my gosh, please.
Just saying.
I said
do I bring on the air what you told me off the air?
I'll find out the night before.
Do I tell our audience what you told me when we were on the escalator just last week?
Here's what I said. I said, So the night before you find out.
Say this on the air? Our boss might be listening.
Because I will say it because I don't think that it's incorrect that if I find out the night before I have to go down for jury summons and I'm there until 9 or 10 o'clock, it's going to be hard for me to make it all
No,
the way
that's
down.
not what you said. Do not rewrite history. Do not rewrite history. You said.
I'm not going to be prepared for the show because I think I'm going to be in the jury.
Also not what you said. Justin was there. He witnessed it. Your quote
I probably
was,
shouldn't have to come.
You're probably again. You're still trying to walk this back. Your quote was, "I ain't coming."
Because I'm not going to be prepared for the show. I put in a lot of time and effort into prepping our show, and you want me to
I don't
step
care if
in
I
here
get done at
unprepared.
9. I ain't coming.
Did I say 9? I think I said 9:30. I don't recall. It's all blurring together now. That said, the reason that I'm not going to be here for like a good chunk of March Madness, and I'll be here for like the primary first weekend and for the national championship and everything like that. But I'm going on this trip because my husband's father lives in the Philippines and he's not going to live there for much longer. And so we need to make sure that we are able to see him and go
Moving
on a
in a
trip.
couple of weeks,
Plus,
huh?
I can't go at all during football season. Like we have to pick our moments. I can't go everywhere.
That's okay. Warning for Steph, who I don't know is watching either, but
Oh, yeah. How about this? You give me
well,
grief.
it's not my fault. This is not a willing trip that I have to take. My little sister's getting married. The problem is
don't
she's
have to
getting
go?
married the week of the NBA final.
You don't have to go. I actually told my dad about this. He's very disappointed.
Yeah.
He's ready for your bets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can still, unlike you, I can actually check in from St. Petersburg, Florida, where the hell I'm. One of the Saint
Yeah, the
cities out
time
there.
difference will be a little bit odd
Yeah.
for my situation.
Also, it's a weekend wedding, so like I could theoretically go out there and then come back and not miss any time. But
Would you?
I ain't coming.
We did get some green on the bet slip this past weekend. So let's do a quick recap before we look ahead as we close things out here today. You didn't have any bets on Friday, did you?
No, I did not.
All right, so I cashed both of my Shane Lowry bets on the Cognizant Classic, top 10 and top 20, and we were joking earlier. Thank goodness I didn't ultimately fire on him to win it all, too, because of the collapse there. So cash both of those. We got another over in the Minnesota series, although the beautiful streak came to an end over the course of the weekend because that is now done. Buffalo cashes money line against Florida, and then that's an interesting one on the bottom. That would be the Jets and Ducks, actually. Also of Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah. You got it right, yeah.
The under 6.5 did not get there in that game.
I was going to say, even in hockey, the Angels will lose somehow.
So 4-1 going into the weekend, though, so that was nice. I don't have anything other than this live Detroit money line that we've been sweating out throughout the course of the show today. You have made an addition, though.
Yes, I have. Duke, we'll lay it with Duke today here against NC State. We've talked about this Duke team a lot. Dare we say situationless, spotless? Yes, they do have North Carolina coming up on Saturday. They're also a team that could solidify their spot as the number 1 overall seed. And let's be honest here, too. You're looking ahead potentially to North Carolina. You're probably itching for some revenge, and you're back at home. I think this team has done a tremendous job in handling almost every situation possible. Syracuse game before Michigan. Maybe you're looking ahead to Michigan. You blow out Syracuse.
Yep.
You beat Michigan. You go on the road. Let down after Notre Dame. You've got a top 10 team or fringe top 10 team in Virginia coming up. Smoke Notre Dame. Smoke Virginia. This team is playing extremely well right now. I'll trust that they can get this here against an NC State team that has not been playing well. So we'll go with Duke minus 9.5.
He's not exaggerating, by the way. The win over Virginia by 26, the win over Syracuse by 37 as a 20.5 point favorite. Notre Dame, they were 16.5 point favorite, won by 44.
Yep.
Like they're winning by margin in all of these. And again, also while knocking off Michigan while they were an underdog.
So if you just start and you just look at this conference schedule that they have been a part of and just what they have done, the North Carolina loss sticks out because obviously it's a lone loss there in that situation, but also because Stormy, they didn't really shoot the ball particularly well. And North Carolina did shoot particularly well. They shot 50% from the floor, 42% from beyond the arc, and you still, in that game, only lost by 3.
Yep.
So this team has been destroying their opponents in ACC play.
Meanwhile, NC State has just looked ugly lately. You talked about it. Dropped 4 of their last 5 games. The lone win in that time was against North Carolina, where they were without Caleb Wilson, without Henry Visar for that one. Yep. And so you almost like just put an asterisk next to that win that you have against the Tar Heels. And this is a team that looked like they would be in really good standing in the NCAA tournament and has just really fallen apart down the stretch. I was talking to you about maybe, because we mentioned, okay, you could throw Duke in. What if you throw Duke and Arizona into the parlay with the 2 NBA teams that are facing the bad teams as well? So is that Rockets and Denver Nuggets?
Yes.
So that's 4 teams, though, that I was very sad to learn would still only get you plus 102.
Yeah. And actually, just with like even money right now.
Should that be just, I might throw that in just for a fun one. Who's going to be the one that messes it up? Who's the big favorite that screws up the parlay?
Probably in the NBA, obviously, because they're all professionals. So I would assume it's one of Denver or Houston.
I thought actually you might say Iowa State in like a position where they really, really.
I mean, I don't
Maybe
know.
wanna
Who
win.
knows in college basketball over the weekend? So we had I went 2-3 by the way in our first week
basketball
of the college basketball handicapping contest that we have up on VSiN.com. And one of the losses was I laid it with Iowa State. I was like, surely JT Toppin's out. This team can handle it. And then sure enough, they did not. So to that point, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be shocking if Arizona went out there and laid an egg against Iowa State and lost outright.
I hope not. I'm going to do it. Just like it's not an official play, but it's just a for funsies type of a thing. I want a little bit of action later on in the afternoon, and I wasn't able to get there on anything else I really liked. That's a wrap for us today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. As we talk about all of the hockey that's in action right now, excited we're going to have Jonathan Davis on the program tomorrow to break down what is a pretty loaded card coming up in the National Hockey League.
Will you guys make up? That is the question.
Stop it with this. You're ridiculous.
There is a beef that is
There
brewing
is not a
between
beef.
Jonathan Davis and
It's
Stormy
like
Buonantony.
made up in your head because you saw a tweet this one time.
Might be a one-sided beef.
I think it's of the two people involved, the one side is you, who's not even around it. That said, stick around. Follow the money coming up after this. Mitch and Paul are back. You're ridiculous. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.